The US state of Florida is experiencing the passage of a hailstorm for the second day in a row. Only today the hail is really huge. Some specimens reached 6 centimeters in diameter. Highlands County, in which the largest hailstones were recorded, for the first time suffered from such a large hailstone. These blocks of ice crushed everything around. The houses of local residents were damaged. Both windows and roofs were broken. These hailstones and vehicles were not left without attention. They left their mark in the form of dented hoods and roofs, broken glass. Usually hail falls on average for about 15 minutes. The same hailstorm lasted almost half an hour. The consequences of its passage, as well as the damage done, are large. The flood situation in Australia remains critical. The rains have almost stopped, but the water level is still dangerous in some areas. The authorities have thrown all their efforts into restoring infrastructure so that local residents can return to normal life and to their homes as soon as possible. In addition, landslides were noted in a number of regions, in which, unfortunately, there were victims. Authorities are urging local residents to be careful, especially those who continue to use personal vehicles. Queensland is working on flood relief are reporting a shocking increase in pests and animals looking for better places. Rats, cockroaches and snakes are increasingly appearing in suburban homes and restaurants. Hurricane winds were noted in the capital of Azerbaijan, Baku. According to local media, such weather conditions have been observed for the second day. Unfortunately, there were no casualties. It is reported that as a result of the violence of the elements, 9 people received various injuries of varying severity. The injured were taken to hospitals for medical treatment. Wind gusts in Baku and Sumgayit reached crazy 40 meters per second. The wind ripped roofs from multi-story buildings, schools and government institutions, felled trees and uprooted some. Many parked cars were damaged, on which these trees and large branches fell. Not only that, a dust storm was noted. Visibility in places did not exceed 40 meters. A forest fire continues to blaze in the northeast of Mexico, which is already being called the most intense for the region in recent years. The fire is spreading wider. The heat and strong wind are helping. The fire has already destroyed 3,500 hectares of forests and meadows. Local media also reported that the fire destroyed dozens of houses. 70 families were evacuated to temporary shelters. 300 firefighters and volunteers, 2 planes and 4 helicopters are involved in extinguishing the fire. Basically, large fires are located in the state of Oaxaca. Huge forest fires in southern Mexico provoked a smokescreen that covered the capital of the country. Satellite imagery revealed more than 30 hotspots in the region. The strongest showers swept the north of Africa, in particular Morocco. The torrential rains that fell here for almost 2 days led to the overflow of the rivers and their overflowing. As a result, several cities were flooded with flood levels exceeding 1 meter. According to local media, the elements destroyed more than 2,000 houses. The currents of water that rushed through the streets were so strong that they swept cars and people off the roads. At the moment, no deaths have been noted, but 5 people are listed as missing. According to local authorities, 100 millimeters of rain fell in 9 hours, which is the norm of precipitation for 2 months. Roads and infrastructure have suffered. The streets are littered with dirt and debris. Rain warnings are still in place for 5 provinces in Morocco. A series of strong winds and several tornadoes hit the state of Texas. Strong wind gusts up to 30 meters per second were noted from the late evening. Severe thunderstorms were noted that caused power outages for almost 20,000 residents. At the moment, damage received by the National Weather Service is already known, which included damaged buildings, fallen trees, broken power lines, and overturned tractors with trailers. A tornado was seen near Alvarado, blowing roofs off several buildings. According to local media, there were no victims or injured. Authorities have issued an orange weather warning. The Haywood County Office of Emergency Management in North Carolina said a massive wildfire that formed here on Sunday evening is threatening the homes of locals in the Maggie Valley area. At the moment, the fire covered an area exceeding 2,000 hectares, while according to the fire brigade, the flames are contained by 10%, which means that the fire continues to grow. Authorities have already announced an evacuation of the population north of Pless Underwood Road. More than 40 houses, located in close proximity to the fire. Firefighters and volunteers are doing their best to prevent the fire from spreading to this residential area. Aviation was also involved in extinguishing the fire. In Croatia last year, in April, snow fell for the first time in 30 years. A similar situation is observed this year. The region of Dalmatia, the center of which is split, located on the Adriatic Sea, has suffered the most from heavy snowfalls. Due to difficult weather conditions, there were problems in transport communication on the main highways. In some cities, more than 10 centimeters of snow fell in a few hours. The snow will not lie for long, as the temperature in the Croatian capital exceeds 16 degrees Celsius. Such snowfalls undoubtedly caused amazement and joy among the locals. Many shared photos and videos on social networks. Thank you for watching the video. Thanks for supporting the channel. Good wind and weather.